Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? Good morning, good morning. Okay, so beautiful push so far on Riot. I told you guys this was going towards this 15 level. I think all of this liquidity is gonna get run. So 1450, 1480, 1587, all of that is gonna get run really soon. So super excited for that. Full transparency, I did sell some covered calls yesterday after this daily gap got filled. The 1450 covered calls expiring August 1st, I believe. So there is a possibility that I do end up selling some of my position here and the 1450 level. We'll see if it gets there by August 1st. My guess is it will. In fact, I think it might even get there today. We're up almost 5% on Riot already. So yeah. The other one that I had sold puts on was Google. You can see we had a massive rally here. I was up almost 50% on these. Still up close to 30%, give or take, 26%. These are the 175 puts. So even if I hold these until expiration on July 25th, we're looking at, I need to see Google drop almost 6% in the next 5 days for that to happen. So no way that's going to be happening. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to happen. But again, anything can happen in the markets. Tesla up 326. Beautiful pump on Tesla. Love to see that. Disney down, Bitcoin down. Interesting that Bitcoin is down and Riot is up. Just an interesting thing to note. What else is going on? Let's see the main market movers. By the way, guys, today is a no news Monday, no news Friday. So likely I will only be trading on eval. We're probably just going to consolidate. I will note though, right now, if we mark out our levels here, first of all, I just want to look at the hourly real quick. Where's the Asia range here? Okay, so Asia range standard deviations are played out here. This is the fourth standard deviation from yesterday. I want to see this hit either today or on Monday. Sunday open. So if we do have a bullish Sunday, I would love to see a retracement on Monday to target this and the first, second, and third, or the 0.3, 0.25, and 0.2 standard deviations of the weekly range, which right now is pretty big. But we'll label it here just so we have it. So from here to here, TGIF setup. Oh, wrong way. My bad, guys. I always confuse the Fibonacci's, but you can see here that right now, using that high, we have the 0.2, 0.25, and 0.3 here. So if this is going to end up being the short, great. I don't think this is the best setup ever. We didn't sweep any major liquidity here. So I'm not a huge fan of just shorting this consolidation. But we'll be patient and see if we get anything else. Interesting. Wow, Tesla is pushing. Look at this. What a push on the hourly. So Tesla's probably driving up here to this buy side liquidity. There's two levels at 329 and of course 331. So that's where I think that's headed. Interesting. Yeah. How's ASML doing today? ASML down 0.37. Nothing massive, but it did have a pump this morning, I believe. Yeah, now it's selling off a little bit more. I think ASML is probably headed towards this weekly zone here. This weekly gap. So if we do get that, then that'll be awesome. Whoa. Awesome. All right, so there is technically an inversion here. I will admit, if we look at the 1 minute chart here, There is an inversion. I'm looking at ES. I'm not seeing anything. No, I'm not seeing anything here. There is no SMT between them. They're both making lower highs here. So yeah, I'm not really inclined to take any shorts, to be honest. Not yet, at least. I need to see something more apparent, like a sweep of the data high, or the daily high, which formed at 928, and then a liquidity sweep. So if this happened, if we inverse this, came up here, and then got an inversion, we could use that to target the 0.2. And of course the 0.25, and then of course the 0.3 afterwards. So I'm hoping to see something like that. I don't want to take the first manipulation leg. Kay, what's up, brother? Good morning. Can you guess, Kay, what we're looking for today? It's a certain ICT model that already technically is happening, but I'm not taking it because I want to see a more major liquidity zone get swept. Though this could be it, I will admit, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Who can guess that's watching what this is? What setup am I looking at? No, not Turtle Soup. It's a really famous ICT setup, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's, yeah, I guess it is actually kind of lesser known. I've talked about it a few times on stream before. I also posted about it on X yesterday. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with the day of the week. Come on, somebody's got to know. Dude, Tesla's just ripping. Look at this. Huge pump on Tesla. Let's freaking go. Okay, nobody knows. So the setup that I'm talking about is the TGIF setup. The thank God it's Friday setup. Basically what it means is you take the weekly candle, and it's a very high likelihood that we're going to retrace 20 to 30% of the weekly candle. So that's the idea behind the trade now. I'm not taking this short. I'd rather see a more major liquidity sweep first. But technically this was the entry. Stop loss is a close back above the inversion that just formed here. TP1, TP2, TP3. But admittedly, I'm not a huge fan of this inversion. It's not so clean. There wasn't a major liquidity sweep. We're at all-time highs, so I'm going to be extra cautious. I will let you guys know, first of all, we've had a pretty decent week. It's not my biggest week, not my smallest week, but it's a Friday. If you had a decent week, there's no news coming out today. Most likely, we're not going to get clean delivery to the upside or downside. By the way, we just formed perfect equal lows here. Where were they? Right here. So another set of equal lows just formed, but I would be extra cautious, especially if you've had a decent week. No reason to be taking unnecessary trades. In my opinion, this is not clean enough to take. There's not even a real fair value gap here, honestly. It's just this. So small. I would definitely not consider taking this personally. Already a failed inversion to the upside. Be so careful here. But yes, in theory, my objective is down here at 23.2250 and then 23.1217. These are the areas I'm looking for. 23.217.25. Oh my goodness, what was that? There was no news today. Am I tripping? Friday. Preliminary consumer sentiment. Orange folder. Interesting. Wow. That is a pump if I've ever seen one. That was crazy. And it looks like we're forming perfect equal highs here too. So I would definitely sit out until one of these is swept and then look for the other one. What a move. Okay, looks like you might be right about that sweep to the upside, but also guys, make sure you like this stream if you're in here. There's 8 people watching this on different platforms and there's only 2 likes. Come on, y'all. Okay, so now we have a set of equal highs that formed here and a set of equal lows. Really, I'd rather see the equal highs get swept first. And then maybe we get a short setup. But again, very tough to short at all-time highs. The only setup you can really take here right now is this. And then your target has to be the equal highs. So that is a potential setup for sure. I'd prefer to see that. I'd prefer to see the equal highs get swept first and then some kind of a drop down here. Wow, Tesla's at 330. Let's go. I've been saying this forever, guys, but I mean, first of all, we have to see Tesla push past this IFEG right here. We have a massive daily fair value gap. So I will label that in white so you can see it. It's not an inversion yet, but it could potentially be an inversion. Here's actually a trade idea for you guys. I would set your alerts for the day that Tesla closes above 340 and 44 cents, okay? If we can close above this IFEG, I think that is a good opportunity to long. You can keep your stop a little bit lower if you want. Target is going to be, there's going to be 2 targets. The top of this monthly fair value gap, that's going to be your first. That's a 2 for 1 RR trade. Very good odds, in my opinion. I mean, you're risking 2 to make 1. And then the second TP will be the volume imbalance on the, I believe it was the weekly chart and the monthly chart. So we have a volume imbalance here at 386.52. So if we are able to inverse this on the daily, pay attention to where we close here. You're looking at a potential 2-to-1 and a potential almost 3-to-1 RR trade here. If you keep your stops tighter, it's even better. So here you're looking at a 3.5-to-1 RR, almost a 2.5-to-1 RR. That's going to be really good. Okay, so failure from this fair value gap. Could this be what drives us lower here? Sure, we have equal lows down here now too. We have all the levels that we're potentially going for. But again, guys, I'm not going to be shorting this until at least we see equal highs get swept and I see a really good RR trade here. So equal lows got swept. And yeah, now we just have to pay attention and see what happens. Dude, riot, non-stop pushing here. Non-stop. Okay, so it looks like this is the sell-off. But, again, no guarantees yet. Damn, that's unfortunate. But we left perfect equal highs here, so these will obviously get swept at some point soon. But technically, this is the TGIF. Again, I'd rather have seen more of a major liquidity sweep personally, but we didn't really get it. I don't think this is a bad long either, by the way. So if this closes above, can target the equal highs. But right now, gun to my head, I mean, obviously the fact that we're holding this bearish fair value gap created another tiny inversion here. It looks like the target's going to be that 0.2. If we do somehow inverse this bearish fair value gap to the upside, I do think this is the target for today. But that is obviously not a good sign that we manipulated above London. Oh, yeah, I think this is going to dump here. It's just very hard to short with equal highs right above us. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. Give me 1 second. Jesus. Wait, is this Warriors for Yeshua? Jesus loves me? Is this a new name or is this a different person? Okay, so another set of equal highs. Yeah, I do like the buy, but I also I can't be like this is such a tough spot, guys, because we have the TGIF setup forming. I just can't take it right now. I'd rather see the 0.2 get swept and then see a long setup afterwards. That would be ideal. This is such a hard spot to be in. Again, we have perfect equal highs here and here, but we have the TGIF setup that looks like it's going here. We're forming lower highs and lower lows, and so I think this is probably just going to drive down into this. But it's so hard to short this when we have equal highs right above us and here, so there's just no way. Such a tough day. But also, again, guys, I said it was a no news Friday. It was orange folder news, and that was what delivered this huge candle here. It's also a data high, so equal highs and data highs here. But yeah, I do like this with small size. K is correct, if we're able to get it. Exactly, K, yep. Jesus loves me, bro. Just took smelling salts before trading these. Have I seen you before? Jesus loves me. I don't know if I've seen your face in here. Y'all are wild. I have been, but I changed my name. Are you Warriors for Yeshua? Is it Robert? Or is it somebody else? I was Bosher. I don't remember the name Bosher, I don't think. Not 100%, but I don't think I remember the name. There was a guy in this chat like 6 months ago. His real name was Robert, but he went by Warriors for Yeshua. And he was an interesting character, I'll say that. Okay, so it looks like this is probably going to drive us down here, realistically. If I had to guess, I think it's driving down to that 22.2275 level. I think it's going to miss the equal highs and then just go lower and then probably take the equal highs out later. Damn. It's unfortunate that we weren't able to get a setup, but we could get a setup back up here. I'm going to guess that it's going to take out the 0.2, 0.25, and maybe the 0.3 first. Also, we have that fourth standard deviation from yesterday down here, right below the 0.25. So that could also be a good draw on liquidity. But if it's going to reverse, it's either going to do it right here, in my opinion, or lower. But there's no setup here, unfortunately. I wish there was. The only setup we can really consider here is a closure above this, and that would be our trade to the data highs. Okay, this is a major level here that we're touching into, which was the previous all-time high, I believe. If you go to the daily chart, you can see it right there. So we might get a bounce from here, but I mean, there's no A plus setup. So more realistically is we're going to hit the 0.2 and the 0.25 here with a big down close candle. And then hopefully we get a reversal later in the day. That's my hope, but no guarantees, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I did call out this inversion here, but I said that it was way too small for me to take it. But at least we have this set of equal highs here that we know is going to hit. I don't know if it'll hit today, but if we get the setup, we'll take it. So what I would be looking for here is something like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but hopefully a tap into that standard deviation and then probably some kind of a manipulation in here and then a move up. That would be ideal here. But I'm going to guess this just keeps dumping here. But again, I told you guys this morning, and I posted this on X yesterday, I was looking for a TGIF setup. Unfortunately, this was not the cleanest one. Technically, we did have this inversion here, but then we closed back above it, then we closed below it. But this tells me that we're probably going to drive all the way down to here and then here. So if we get some kind of a move higher here, back to test high of the all-time high, the previous all-time high, that would be a good spot to like maybe take a short if you really want to, but by no means an A+ area. Nanda, hey, what's up? You follow me on X? Did you see my post yesterday looking for a TGIF setup? Ooh, this looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. On the 2-minute, this looks pretty nice. So an even better RR trade. But I would rather, to be honest, guys, I would rather see that 0.2 level get swept. To me, it looks like this is probably just going to be used as rejection to continue lower here. Just my 2 cents. But if this does inverse, then you can use it. First TP would be this 1-minute fair value gap here / equal highs. Second TP would be D data highs. Whoa. Trading Riot options. Did you take Riot trades because of me, Nanda, or did you follow me because you saw a post of mine about Riot? Because I use the Riot, not hashtag, but the like the $ Riot, and so I don't know if you saw one of those. No way. You turned 2K into 15K because of my Riot post? Or you found me because of my post about Riot. Sorry, I might still be, whoa, let's go. Congratulations, man. Wow. Yo, Nanda, can I screenshot that and put that on X? I already screenshotted it, but if you don't want me to post it, I won't. But that's so cool. Let's go, bro. Congratulations. That hyped me up. Wow. Good shit, man. Um so I don't see anything on the 5 minute. I see again one inversion here on the 3. On the 2 minute, again, I think this is probably going to be used as resistance to go lower. If we inverse this, though, I do think this is a pretty decent trade. College grad with no direction? Bro. I've said my story on here quite a few times, but... oh, nice 2 minute inversion here. Okay, if you guys want to try this long, I'm not going to because we didn't touch into the 0.25 yet. But this is technically a decent inversion, and this would be your first target right here. We have equal highs sitting here too, so this is a decent area. Again, I'm not going to because I think this is a TGIF, and I think this is probably going to fail, and there it is. Or close to failing. But you have to decide which fair value gaps are good and which ones are not. That's the toughest part. So we are technically in a bullish fair value gap. That is fair. But this structure just tells me we're probably going to retrace. 15-minute chart. We did sweep into some liquidity here, trading into a bullish gap. But yeah, I would just be super careful here. But yeah, Nanda. What was I going to say? Oh, so from college, I mean... I also kind of had no direction, graduated in accounting, started selling air conditioning units in school because I had one in my room, and it was a super hot summer. I posted it on Facebook at the end of the school year, like trying to sell it, and I got like 50 replies or something crazy. So I thought to myself like, hey, let me like sell it. I made a profit off of it, or I basically... I sold it for the same price I bought it for a year before, plus extra. So I made money, and I was able to use it for the whole year. So I thought to myself, well, let me just buy my roommates' ACs. I had like 6 roommates. We were in a frat house. And I sold all of their AC units, all 6 of them. Made like $1,000 or $700 or something, which to me was a big deal at the time. And yeah, then I got into real estate. I kept doing the ACs to build up a little bit of capital, use that money to pull lists for real estate, wholesaling, like flipping properties. And yeah, and then I started investing in the stock market, then I found day trading, and then the rest is history. Okay, so failed 2-minute inversion here. I think this will probably end up driving lower here to the 0.25. Again, not financial advice, but I think that's probably what's going to happen. But again, there's no setup for me to take here. But yeah, I've told people before, but it took me almost 2.5 years to be a profitable trader. It took a long time. I was always profitable because of investments, like long-term investments and option selling. Working at a bank. Are you working now, Nanda, or is today your day off? I think it's just going to keep pushing down, guys. I think the 0.25 is next in that standard deviation here. Pay time off. Yeah, I know everyone wants to quit the rat race, but what I would say is, Nanda, prove to yourself that you can trade and invest for a year plus and find out what your flaws are and things like that, and then decide if you want to actually pursue this full time. But I think it's possible for anyone to do. It just takes time and a lot of dedication and effort. But once you can be confident that you can replace your income with it, just do it. That's my 2 cents. Okay, we're about to touch into the 0.25. See if we can get the dump here. All right, beautiful. So there's the 0.25. I did scalp that, by the way, but I'm not gonna be posting non-A plus setups. I took that with 1 micro on a funded. Now the 4 standard deviation of yesterday should hit, and then if the 0.3 hits today, maybe we can get a reversal to the upside. I doubt it. This to me looks like a higher time frame market structure shift. I don't know how to explain it, but just looking at it, to me it looks like this is probably going to be held for a while. I think we're going to get some sizable retracements here. So we have some unbalanced gaps here, here, here. We have an unbalanced gap. The 50% of this whole leg is down here, but we'll see. Again, I'm not going to predict this and say for sure this is the higher time frame market structure shift, but to me it looks like it. Yeah, for sure, Nanda. I mean, you're welcome to join. We have a free 3-day trial if you want to just check it out. But what I would suggest to anyone who's looking to start learning how to trade, don't, for example, on my Discord, I do have like a live trade alert section, but it's all for educational purposes. My goal is not to allow you guys just to copy trades and expect you're going to be a winner. Because, first of all, I don't call that many setups there. I only call the AAAA plus ones that happen once in a blue moon. And it's just, you're never going to be able to trade with confidence and size unless you are confident with the model and the setup. So I don't really suggest that you copy those, honestly. But what I do think is optimal there for the community is the option selling, swing trading, and long-term investing. But it's just basic knowledge, guys. Like, for example, when the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 dropped like 20% during the April tariffs, all my friends in real life, everyone on X was freaking out saying, oh my God, it's the end of the world. I'm selling all my positions. Meanwhile, when the market drops 10 or 20%, I buy every single time. It doesn't matter what's happening, because at the end of the day, if the tariffs are going to be the end of the world or something else is going to be the end of the world, really, money is the last thing you're going to have to worry about. The best thing you can do is just buy assets at deep discounts, 20%, 10%, 20% drops. I always buy the NASDAQ and the S&P. So basic things like that. We're up like, I don't know, 37% or 40% from April. Anything we bought from that point. It's wild. So that was just like a basic thing. Bitcoin, obviously, when that was down in July of last year in the 50s, I bought it. In the 30s, I bought it. At 18, I bought it. All of that is posted in the community. The only times I bought were when everybody was saying end of the world for Bitcoin, and that's when you buy, pretty much. And then long-term things, Nike we bought, Boeing we bought, Amazon we bought, Tesla we bought in the 200s and high 180s. Things like that. So yeah. But again, for like day trading, I suggest you guys learn it. I have a free playlist on YouTube. If you guys want to learn like the basics of my strategy, go to my playlist section and you can find it. Are you buying the shares or options? Always shares. I do sell options, which is not what you're thinking, Nanda. So like you bought Riot calls, I'm assuming, and you turn that 2K into 15K. But I actually sell calls and sell puts. It's the opposite side of the trade. I have a playlist on that too if you guys want to learn more about it. The reason most people buy options is because they're cheap and there's like a promise of high returns, right? You can turn 2K into 15K, which is actually wild that you did that. By the way, Nanda, I would suggest you take that money and withdraw it. Put that 15K into something that's more... that has a better risk profile. Because What's likely to happen with options is you can make money sometimes. You got lucky. Congratulations, you're in college. 15K is a lot of money. Don't be the person that decides that they're going to keep trading with that money and end up losing it, because taking those riot calls, I'm proud that you were able to make that money, but I'm telling you right now, bro, what is that, a 7x? To get a 7x in a few weeks or however long it took you, just trading like riot calls is a very low probability. Like the odds of that happening were super slim. So you got very lucky, even though you followed a play, which is great. You happened to buy the calls at the right time. First trade was June 8th. Okay. So yeah, pretty much a month. You turned 2K into 15K. I don't think you, like, if you're new to trading, guys, I don't think you understand how statistically unlikely that is to happen. That's a 7x on in a month. That's ridiculous. So what I would do if I were you, bro, I would take that money, withdraw it, and do one of two things with it. Pay off your student loan debt. That's the first thing. That's the first thing I did when I made money. If you don't have student loan debt, invest it in the S&P 500, invest it in the NASDAQ, but sit on it for a while. Wait for there to be a big drop in the markets where I think it's possible we're going to have a decent correction. Wait for a 20% correction or a 15% or a 10% correction in the markets and buy it. Or buy a really nice blue chip company. I mean, Tesla's a good option in my opinion. Amazon's a good option. Google's a good option. But just wait for like a big red day and invest all that money. That's my take for you. Or invest it in education if you want to learn another business. Do not take that 15K and reinvest it back in the market. The best thing you could do too, if you still want to trade, take your initial investment, that 2K that you started with, and use that to invest. And then take the rest out and invest it in something that's a lot less risky. That's my 2 cents for you. Because I know how this works. I've been doing this quite a long time, and I know that most people, in fact, probably 90% of people, 95% will end up losing that money again. Especially if they're just trying to take short-dated options. I hope that you take the lesson instead of finding out the hard way yourself. But sometimes, unfortunately, most people have, like anything in life, you have to go through a big period of pain to take a learning lesson. Like for me, I think total I lost like 15K trying to day trade before I decided that enough is enough and I have to take it seriously. That's what built my discipline. That's basically what allowed me to get to the point now where I don't click the button more than like once or twice a day. If that, I'm super selective. So yeah. That is my 2 cents for those of you guys who are just starting to watch me. Be disciplined. And Nanda, that honestly hyped me up that you were able to turn 2K into 15K off of a riot call that I posted on X. Didn't think that many people saw that. Took the $7.25 $12 call and then the $8.14, and I have one hanging. Okay, by the way, guys, Riot is up. Okay, it's now up 3% on the day. We have major buy-side liquidity here. I do think this will hit, but if you were in profit on that trade, the 8.14 call, you have an 8.16 hanging. How big is the call, Nanda? How much are you holding in the contract? How much did you spend on it for the 8.16? So guys, I think gun to my head, again, this is not trading advice, but I think this is probably going to go down to the 0.3. We're making lower highs and lower lows constantly, but we do have 2 sets of equal highs here. So I would not be, if you're taking this, I would take it with super small size. There's another inversion here on the 1 minute, very small. Again, nothing I would take personally. But this could be a short here. But again, we need to see a closure below for that to even work, obviously. Spent 35 on 8.15, 8.16 call. For one call? No way. What I would do, Nanda, if you're... I'm sure it's not one call if it's $3,500 on a Riot. Yeah, I would definitely reduce your size on that. Like take 50%, 70% of it off right now. While you're up almost 4% on the day. Yes, it could continue more. Great, but manage your risk. Trust me, with options, you can get destroyed. Like, for example, I did, bro, this morning. Okay, good, good, good. All right, nice. I would also calculate, Nanda, um, how much would be like break even. So let's say you spent $3,500 and you're up, I don't know, you're up 300%. Crazy. Try and like make sure that at the end of the day, no matter what happens, you break even on the trade. So like if you reduce the position by 50% or 70% of it's off, make sure that your stop loss, like you make sure you cut the trade at, don't lose money on the trade is basically what I'm trying to say. When I said 2K to 15K is me taking profit. Beautiful, brother. Good for you, man. Yeah, you're doing it right. Just like I said, try and take some of the money and invest it. Okay. And the reason, guys, I'm still going on about Nanda, A, that's exciting that he was able to do that. I'm trying to teach him how to manage his risk, but B, there's really nothing here. If you want to take this small size, do it. Target one will be that fourth standard deviation from yesterday, and then second TP will be the 30%. This is the signal to go short as a closure back below this inversion. But again, it's very small. I personally am not going to be taking this, but you guys can do what you want. You guys can call me OF. OPH. O for short. But yeah. Okay, so technically this is the entry. Stop loss would be a close back above this. Again, I'm not going to take this. It's not high probability. We've already touched into the 0.25. We could reverse here. But I think ultimately the draw for today is this 4 standard deviation and that 0.3 retracement. But I will say sometimes, guys, we'll touch into the 0.25, have a reversal first. Maybe we'll come back and rebalance this 1 minute fair value gap here and then go lower. Oh, I gotta say, everything you said is exactly what I was thinking about my situation. I know I got lucky. Nanda, see, that tells me already um, the fact that you see that, like you envision that in your mind. You know that it was lucky because, I mean, it obviously it was. There was probably a way you could have done it where it was less risky, but I mean, you got a great return. It is what it is. But yeah, now you understand, like, especially if you're not really sure on your direction. You're not necessarily, well, you are employed. I think you said you work at a bank. But yeah, just take that money and do something good with it. Withdraw your initial investment, and you can play with that, have fun with it, but the rest of the money, invest it in something that's a lot better. I can't quit my job because of the riot play, but yeah, bro, slowly but surely. Build your income, build your net worth, make investments, and then when you're comfortable and it's time to do it, then do it. I'm telling you, it'll save you a lot more stress. And I know you're not even considering quitting because you know you need to know what you're doing and have some kind of a cushion. But eventually it can happen. Just stay disciplined, learn. What I would recommend if you want to day trade, start with a prop firm. My favorite one is Top Step. Apex is great too, but basically you pay like a small amount of money, between $30 and $50 for the month, and they give you an account to trade. And if you can prove that you're a good day trader and that you're profitable, They'll give you funded accounts, and then you can make money off of the funded, and that way you're not risking your own money. For me, like I said, I risked my own money in the beginning. I didn't know about prop firms, and it was a tough 2 years. But again, I had real estate income, I had options income, I had dividends, all types of things that were cushioning me and allowing me to stay afloat. So, by the way, guys, if you took this 1 minute inversion, the way that my model works, if we close back above the inversion, the trade is invalid. So here I would have had to stop out the trade for a loss, a small loss, but nonetheless a loss. And yeah, so I would be out of this. I would not allow this to go back up and reverse against you. If it's going to be now. Bro, and again, I can't say it enough. Congratulations, Nanda, and keep it up, bro. What's your name, by the way? Or is that your name? Oh, by the way, Nanda, I actually have a pretty... Do your own due diligence on the company, but look them up. If you want something that's trading at a discount right now that I actually really like, there's two different things. The first one is a company called ASML. They're a chip lithography company. Oh, your name's Nanda. Where's that from? And while you're typing that, so ASML is a chip lithography company. They do, like, if you look on the all the computer chips, they do the tiny little incisions that you see on the chips. I don't know exactly what. I think it's for like electron transport or some crazy shit. India, nice, Nanda. They had an earnings report. They're worth like 300 billion, but at one point they were worth like 600 billion. They beat expectations on earnings. I think everything was a positive, but they did have quote unquote negative guidance because they said that they're unsure with the Trump tariffs if they're going to be as profitable for the next quarter or the next year. But I'm in Vegas for 20 years. Oh, wow. So look at ASML. That's a good one. Another sector I recommend potentially investing in if we get a little bit more. So I'll actually point them out to you guys right now. ASML, ticker ASML. You can see after their earnings report, they dumped like, what was this? 10%, give or take. I bought this in our community in the 600s, so my cost basis was 640. I just added to my position. I think my cost basis is now around 670. But I think this company is going to go crazy soon. We have a gap here on the daily that needs to be filled. So if you're buying from here, you're looking at a potential 32 return on your investment, 32%. But you can see here under their metrics, they're a $300 billion company right now after selling off like crazy. They're pretty much a monopoly. Like, there's no competition for this company. Very few. And if you look at them from a long-term perspective, look, they've been around since 1995, and look at this chart. It's just a consistent uptrend. So you want to look for companies that have a high market cap. No, I would say, Nanda, I would buy shares. Just hold it. And again, do your own due diligence. This is not a financial recommendation. It's just an observation and a personal investment. Does not mean that you need to be doing this. But again, do your own due diligence. This company's been on an uptrend since 1995. They are a beast when it comes to AI and chips and computers and whatnot. Look up lithography. You can look at their competitors. Use ChatGPT. Use AI to do your research. How many would you buy if you have 20K to invest? I can't really tell you that, Nanda. I would diversify. So if you have 20K to invest, I wouldn't put all of it into one company personally. And yeah. Just do what you're comfortable with, and I would just hold it for the long term. And then the other thing that I am personally looking to buy, not quite yet, but soon, is XLV. This is the healthcare sector. So if you guys don't really follow healthcare, I don't know if you guys follow UNH, the company that had a huge sell-off after potential fraud. I'm looking to potentially buy this if we can get to these areas of liquidity here. There's a low here at 122.50 and there's a low here at 118. So in this general area here, I'm looking to invest in healthcare between 116 and 124. That's going to be something for the long term as well. It tracks all the healthcare companies. But UNH is the one I'm talking about that had a huge sell-off after potential fraud situations. And yeah. Okay, so you can see here, guys, after the failed inversion, we're trading up. I think potentially now we're going to head up to these equal highs, but there's no model here. Let's check out the 3, the 5. Yeah, I don't like this, guys. I'm not going to be taking any more trades today until I see something more obvious. If we can trade down into this 30% of the weekly TGIF setup, then maybe we can get a reversal. But my guess is that this is going to continue lower. But yeah, if you're looking at things at a discount, Nanda, find companies you love, wait for them to drop. For me, again, ASML is one of, not my largest holdings, but it's a, I don't know, like 6% of my portfolio. Actually kind of large. But yeah, that's one of them. Riot, by the way, guys, Riot is not a long-term hold. This is purely a trade. Not something I'm looking to hold for the long term. No way. But if Bitcoin ends up going crazy, if Bitcoin ends up going crazy from here, you're going to see the miners push. I will say we are looking a little bit overextended here on Bitcoin. But I mean, with Bitcoin, you have no idea. If liquidity gets injected, I don't know, whoever buys it, the Saudis, if all the funds use it, because now I think Trump just noted that, or Trump just, he said he was going to sign an executive order to allow for all the retirement accounts to buy cryptocurrencies. That's a $9 trillion market where potential liquidity can flow into Bitcoin. So who knows what's going to happen with Bitcoin, but definitely would say that if this goes crazy, Riot will go crazy, crazier than it already has, even though we're up over 100% already. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, guys, Nanda, my thoughts on crypto, Bitcoin, and I don't touch anything else. Obviously, I have Riot, which is like a sympathy play to Bitcoin, meaning like, Riot is not directly Bitcoin, but if Bitcoin goes up, Riot goes up. And when we bought Riot here, the first time I alerted Riot was at like $6, I think, give or take, $6.50. So I think around between $7.80 and like $6.80. And we are up like crazy here, 97%, give or take. But yeah, that's obviously a super high risk, high reward play, and it's just related to, I was expecting Bitcoin to rocket, and so when I bought that at the lows, we reaped the rewards. Yeah. Also, you can look at Nike. Nike's at a pretty good discount right now, in my opinion. Here's another one, guys, if you want to, because nothing's happening with NQ right now. Whoops. So I bought Nike in the 60s. So my cost basis is like 63, I believe, right now. I think this is probably going to come down and fill some of this daily gap, if not all of it. And then I would look for continuation on this move. This is also a swing trade. It's not a long-term hold, but my objective is this daily gap here at 109.96. So if you were to invest here, hello, you're looking at a 50-something% return if you're able to hold this up to here. And then there's other buy side above it. But if you can invest lower, like in this gap, you're looking at a 70% return, which is beautiful too. But again, I mean, we're up nicely on this because we had a huge push after earnings. But if we do trade back into here, I think this is a good spot for the long term to add. If we close below this, I would be out of the position. Like a daily close below 51. But I'm looking to hold this for the longer term, like probably 6 months to 2 years, depending on how fast it moves. This is my objective. It's also a massive weekly fair value gap. So there's a lot of, basically, when this weekly move happened, there were a lot of orders that were unfilled here. And so I think this is now potentially the start of a buy model, especially if we can push past 82, which is this internal high with displacement. That will tell me that we're going to do this. So I'm looking for a market structure shift above this high. And then I want to see the market make higher highs and higher lows up until my target. Curious, how do you do the predictions? Looks like you're looking at it like a pattern. How do you calculate for real life events? So it depends. Like for example, the Boeing trade we did. So this is something I also called in the community. You guys can go back if you don't believe me. There's a free trial. Go into my Discord, look at when I called this out. I'm not going to pull it up right now, but you can, in April, I called this, and in October of 2024, I also bought. But we had this monthly fair value gap here. This is purely a technical play. Two reasons. Number one, the technicals. Number two, there's only two air transport, air commercial building, whatever, aviation companies, Boeing and Airbus. So that's one thing, is they're pretty much too big to fail. Number two, we had this massive monthly fair value gap, and we had another unbalanced fair value gap here. So I was buying here with the objective of this unbalanced fair value gap getting filled. And you can see now we fully filled it. I was all out of Boeing at 214, but we bought this. My cost basis was at 152. I took some profits here at this internal high. So I made a 28% return there, and then a 39% return on the rest of the money. Basically 40%. But from monthly fair value gap, and then my target was the monthly. Now, if you look at Nike, the same thing is happening here. It's purely technical. We have an unbalanced fair value gap here on the weekly that I think needs to get filled. We inversed a bunch of fair value gaps to the upside. This monthly fair value gap just inversed to the upside, so I'm looking for a market structure shift to target this. So from a real life event, I mean anything can happen, obviously. There's a risk in any investment you take. But the idea is probably that there's going to be positive news coming out with the tariff situation in China. And I think they've already come up with deals with Vietnam and a few other countries where are sensitive to Nike stock. But the idea is that real life news will be the fueler, the driver to bring us higher. But again, there's inherent risk with anything. Like I said, if we get a close below this on the daily chart, I will be exiting this position for a loss. But right now we're up like 15 or 17%. So, yeah. All right. So what do I see happening from here? Again, I mean, still the same situation. I don't really like this. Also, guys, normally I'm done trading by 11 o'clock Eastern. But yeah, I can teach you the language too, Nanda, but try and look at my playlists on YouTube. You'll learn about buy-side liquidity, sell-side liquidity, inversion fair value gaps, macro times, all those things come into play. But it's it took me years to learn this stuff, and I talk like it's another language. It's easy for me, but it took me years to get to the point where I understood it. Yeah, click on in the description of the YouTube video. There should be a link through WAP. Okay, guys, I think I'm probably going to call it here. It's a Friday, guys. I already took one scalp on the day, just down to this 0.25. So I've booked profits for the day. Not really trying to do anything else crazy. It's like a no news or a no red folder news Friday. If I see something A+, I'll call it in the community under the live alert section. So if you go to the Discord, show you guys here quick. Under the live alert section, this is where I call out all my plays. Again, not often I do this, and I don't suggest that you invest or trade off of this advice or day trade off this advice, but I'll call it there. But I wish you guys the best. Thanks again for stopping by. Nice to meet you, Nanda, and whoever else is still in here. Have a great weekend, and I will catch you guys on Sunday for the economic calendar overview, market overview, and then on Monday for live trading. All right, guys.